Welcome to Cooking with Abba, and today I'm going to show you 3 things you need to try at home. One is how to make your pizza with a fish based or any protein of your type, vegetable based, and then fruit pizza, and then omelette as well. So these are the 3 things I want you to really try out today in the house. So let's start with our omelette. So I need my eggs, I need my vegetable, I need my pizza pan. So yes, I'm going to beat my eggs, add in the salt, add in the vegetables of my preference. For this day, I was using just onions and chopped carrots as well, and then I just mix all of it up. Now for me, I like a bit of a peppery cake, and so I use the pepper oil. Yes, the akabanga chili oil. So I just sprayed a bit of the pepper oil in, then I just placed it into my air fryer. Now, because your typical air fryer doesn't come with this set, so these are accessories for it. So I just placed the stand in, then I placed the egg in, then I just went in to do the setting. So this one I just did manual setting, and you need about, for your egg, omelette doesn't take so long to do. So even if you get like 5 minutes, maybe be too much. Yes, 5 minutes maybe be too much, but about maybe 5 to 10 minutes with your egg, 180 degrees Celsius, you should be good to go with your omelette. Yes, and there's not a big batch in there, so I think 180 degrees Celsius you can do, depend on how raw or how well done you want it. The typical Ghanaian egg is always brown looking, and so for that one, 10 minutes in the 180 degrees Celsius, that's a trick. And once you're done, see your egg, it's just looking beautiful like a fried egg, and you can still enjoy it. So for some health conditions, you're supposed to reduce your oil intakes and stuff, the air fryer is always a good investment. And like I said, you can check my description button for the ingredients as well as where to get your accessories as well. Now to our pizza, yes, if you like pizza a lot, this is one that the kids will love. Yes, and it's very simple, very easy to do. And I use the air fryer. If you don't have it, you can always do it in your oven. So you need to start off with your sugar and then your yeast. Yes, the sugar will help the yeast actually be well activated. So you just mix this and put it at the side. Then we go in for the dried ingredient. For the dried ingredient, basically what you need is your hard flour, which is your bread flour, salt to break the fly taste, and then some spice. So I have my Pastry Spice, which is on my channel, 10 essential spices you should have. So I just mix that in with the yeast, and you realize that it's very well firmed enough. I have the description in the description button. I have the quantities in there, so you can replicate this. And this is something that you can do for yourself these days. If you're in Ghana or in Africa, sometimes buying pizza out may be quite expensive, and sometimes you can do this to just spoil yourself or give your loved ones a treat, that thing. So you just mix this whole thing up into a bowl, and then you have to foil it up. For pizza, if you want to get a good base, you need to make sure that the bread or the base part is well rested. So usually 20 minutes should help you, and then when you're done, you add in your margarine or your butter or your oil or your ghee, depending on the fat or oil you want to use in there. Don't be too worried if it's pretty much soft, because real pizza dough is not meant to be hard, it's meant to be softer. So once I'm done, I just move to my board and then I grease it just a little bit so that it doesn't stick onto it, because mind you, it was soft. And I use my rolling pin to roll it out into a beautiful circle, not so heavy, else it will come out very bready and very heavy at the base. So you have to roll this out for it to be light enough, and then we know that we're good to actually put this in our pan. So I'm using one of my air fryer accessories, which is the pan. I just greased it with a bit of margarine, because that is what Airfryer is very much available and cheap here. If you have butter, you can do it. Then I just put my circular rolled base into it. Usually I use my fingers to lock the sides so that it doesn't spread. Then you put it on your tomato sauce or your basil sauce or your pizza sauce. And because I had gravy that day and I was doing fish based, yes, I wanted to enjoy it with my gravy based as well. And it's on my channel. You can also check it out if you'd want to try it my style like this. Yes, and I'm using sardines for my topping today. I'm doing fish. You can use smoked fish, that works best, or sardines. And I added a bit of akabanga chili oil to give it that hot kick in there. And yes, I love this oil. It's one of my favorite things from Rwanda, and I think they are doing great with it. So I just spread my fish all over it. This is a fish pizza. So even if you're run away for meat, you can go with this. If you're going with meat or chicken, make sure that it's cooked and is well done before you place them in. Then I top it up with my vegetables. Over here I'm using carrots, I'm using onions, I'm using green pepper, yes, and that is the main vegetables I'm going with. You can go with vegetables of your preference. Just go for those vegetables that when the heat goes to it, it's not going to melt off or ooze out so much water, so you need more crunchy vegetables in there. So yes, like I said, if you don't want to use fish, you can go with your meat, your chicken, depending on what you want. If you don't really want any animal-based protein, you can go with your soya chunks, or you can go with just pure vegetable pizza. It's all up to you and your taste and preference. I love onions. I ensure that a lot of onions actually went in there. Yes, and then I spread my cheese on it. This is mozzarella cheese, which I sliced over it. Yes, I remember when I uploaded this on the shorts, somewhere like next time use more cheese, try the silicone base instead, and well, that's well noted. So I had extra margarine. I think I took too much, so I had extra. I was like, let me just put it on so I'll get that oily base. Yes, I know oil is not too good, but let's just tolerate me for today. It was just an experiment that I was just trying to do. So I actually placed the rack in, then I placed the pizza on, then it went into my air fryer and I put it on, and I actually went for the cake function, which is 120 for 170 degrees Celsius for the 20 minutes. But I realized one thing, that because I placed it on the rack and the heat is actually coming from the top of the, how do you call it, the air fryer, I realized it wasn't doing me good. My cheese was melting, the toppings were getting browned, and my base was not well done. So I had to remove it, and then I had to just put it in flat. So that's one thing you don't want to do when you're using an air fryer. Don't lift it. Let me sure that it is right at the base. So once it was done, because the heat was, pizza usually it doesn't take so long to bake. That's the reality. So the 20 minutes I realized was just too much time. So I had my top very well browned, but the base was very crunchy and very well done. Well, the top, I didn't throw it away, I ate it. That's the reality. So yes, that's one thing you should actually note out in there. You can try to also dry it out before. So now let's go to the fruit pizza. Yes, if you're a fruit person and you want, this is one of my favorite pizzas I tried out, or I made for myself, which I kind of loved it. So for this one, to just put in your flour, like I said, go for the bread flour. And for this, I didn't mix it separately. I just placed the spice with the sugar, with the salt, and then with my yeast. Yes, making sure that my sugar was more close to my yeast, and I just mixed it all up. Then water went in bit by bit, then I just mixed it all together to form the dough base. Yes, so if you're doing just for yourself, 1 cup should be okay with you. Yes, if you're doing small pizza for yourself, just 1 cup should do. And this is not a Ghana okoto emo 1 cup or Mr. Ghana emo 1 cup na you using the assay. No, twice the standard cup. Yes, so for this I used oil as well, and you can use oil to make your pizza as well. You don't need margarine. If you don't have margarine, you can use oil of your preference. And in this video I used the coconut oil because it gives you good texture. Yes, you can use any oil of your preference, and like I said, you can even use butter or ghee, whichever works for you. And I'm just cleaning it just a little bit. I'm just working it just a little bit. Most people prefer the oil because of the texture it gives to you. It gives you a very fine texture, which is kind of great when it comes out in there as well. So once you're done, once again, cover it up or foil it up. Let it rest for 20 to 30 minutes. If it's a big batch, you may have to let it rest for maybe 40 minutes or something like that. Yes, and once you're done, you're just going to take it off, and then we're going to go roll it out. Yes, so typically I like to just oil the top a little bit before I roll it out, and because it's a little soft, you realize it was even sticking to my pan. That's what I was saying, that most people prefer the oil in than the margarine base. It gives you a very nice good texture there. So I just roll this out. Yes, and you realize that the yeast and everything was working well, so the dough was acting very well, and you realize it was rising properly. If your dough rises properly, you're going to get you don't get a very hard kind of crusty pizza, or very hard. See, some pizzas, the base is so hard it becomes gummy or hard to chew. So if you get your portions right, you get something a bit easy, soft to eat with. Yes, which is very much enjoyable, unless you want to work out your teeth. So yes, I just put it in my pan after basting it with just a little bit of oil. Like I said, always use your hand to just fit it properly into your pan, especially if you are doing the air fryer baking. So for my topping, I used jam. I used strawberry jam, and then I also continued to add in some extra mango jam. Yeah, so I remember I had some mangoes. I had already it was actually mango chips which I juiced out, or I made some into juice. And the base, yes, the base, some of them didn't melt too well, so I had that thick paste in. I was like, let me just add that in as well. Then once I was done, I just arranged my pineapples onto it to get a good Hawaiian kind of look in there, because typically your Hawaiian pizza always comes with a pineapple. And pineapple is great, one of those great fruits you can actually do for pizza, because it's able to hold its shape, and when it toasts, the flavors are probably, it's still juicy, but it holds to its shape. So pineapple is one of the best things. The raisins wasn't really a great choice going up. Yeah, that's one thing I realized. I think because it's an air fryer and the heat is on the top, it kind of dried it out, and because there's nothing at the top to hold it, it kind of became too hard when I was done. And I also added some lemon juice just to reduce the sugar in there. So if you're going to repeat this, I'd recommend, if you're using an air fryer, let your raisins rather go down before you add the other toppings onto it. That would really give you a very fine result. Or you can embed it into your pastry base, the bread base at the down. That would give you way finer results. And the same cake function goes, and then that is good. So you realize that for the fruit base, it's always super. Like pineapples are a great choice when it comes to fruit pieces in there, but you can choose the fruit that you like, and I like it more brownie. I like to have that toastiness in there. Yes, but like I said, if you're repeating this, make sure that your raisins are not on top. Make sure that your raisins are rather in your dough. Yes, in your dough, like the way when you do your Christmas bread, it goes in there. And see how beautiful the bread base is. It's well airy and very light. So I hope you did like this recipe. If you did, do like, do subscribe, do share, but make sure that most importantly, you live life to the fullest. Be joyous, be merry. Lots of love from my team and I. Wow.